Hello, writers. Usually on this channel, we are so super positive, but today we're going to be a little bit negative because we're going to be talking about failure, namely the three top reasons that authors fail to succeed. Writers just like you who never make it past the stage of aspiring writer, they never get to be a successful author. And why is that? Some polls have said that 81% of Americans believe that they have a book inside of them. And I believe that figure. I think that a lot of us know that there's a book that we could write, that only we could write, and that it's in there, but such a small percentage of us actually succeed in getting that book out so that it finds all the readers it deserves and that it makes the impact that the author was hoping it would make. So before we start talking about the three factors that lead to failure, and don't worry, we'll be talking also about how to overcome those factors so that you can encounter success. But before we start talking about that, don't forget to subscribe to this channel because we have so many videos that are going to help you to succeed. They're going to be your competitive advantage when it comes to being a successful author. My name's Karina Akavane. I am a PhD writing coach from Northern California. I founded Spolmorum, which is a platform that aims to help aspiring writers like you become successful authors. And we do that with a lot of information, inspiration, and mindset. It's really very useful for you because writing is all about mindset. So if you need the technical skills, we're going to help you to get those too. But I really do want to get you guys in the right mindset because without that, there's no way that you can succeed, and success is what we're after. So what are the three reasons that writers like you fail to succeed? Let's start with the first reason. Reason number one, it's actually kind of obvious and it sounds kind of too simplistic, but it's absolutely 100% true. The top reason that most writers do not succeed is because they actually don't believe that they can do it. How does that keep them from succeeding? It's pretty simple. If you don't actually fundamentally believe that you can do something, you are not going to put in 100% of your effort. You're not going to try. When the going gets tough, you're not going to hold on and keep going. You're going to, when in those moments when you absolutely need to be most resilient, you are going to give up because you're thinking that you're wasting your time. This is the way our brains are wired. When you don't actually believe that something is possible, or you don't believe that you can do it, or you don't believe that you can excel in something, your brain, which is trying to save you, really, fundamentally, your brain is trying to help you to not waste time. Your brain is trying to help you to be successful in whatever you can be. But if you convince yourself that you can't do something, your brain is gonna say, hey, stupid, stop working on that and work on something that'll actually get to something. Work on something that'll actually make you money, work on something that'll actually get you recognition. And sadly enough, that thing might be your day-to-day grind. Your brain might say, you know what? I see that this whole, Starbucks barista thing is working okay for you in terms of making enough money to scrape by, or I see that being an accountant seems to be something that's kind of rewarding financially, and it seems to be working every day. Forget the writing thing and stick to that. But that's not what we want. We want to make sure that our writing actually succeeds. And by the way, writing success is not necessarily making 100% of your income from writing or being able to sustain yourself as a writer 100% or being famous or having a bestseller. That's not necessarily what success as a writer means. This brings us to factor number two that makes so many writers fail in their journey to writing a book, and that is that they don't have a blueprint for success. Let me explain what this means. So first of all, you need to define success. If you don't know what your version of success as a writer looks like, there's no way you can go towards it. I mean, just think about that. If you have a GPS and you don't have the coordinates for your destination, well, you're gonna drive around in circles. It's the same exact thing for writing success. So whether writing success is publishing something in a small local newspaper, or whether it's actually finishing a book just for your family and friends to read, or whether it is trying to self-publish something and selling a certain amount of copies, all of those things are wonderful definitions of success, but you need to decide which one actually speaks to you. Once you know what your version of success is, Now comes the time where you need to establish the roadmap for success. Because again, without that, you're gonna get lost, really, really lost, and that's gonna keep you from kind of having that straight line to success. It's so hard to succeed in writing. It really is. I mean, it can be easy, but it can be hard, that you don't want to take any obstacles and put them in your way on purpose. And not knowing where you're going, that is literally you putting roadblocks in your way yourself. It's all your fault. That's what it is. So what can we do to make this easier? First of all, checklists, like having a checklist of what you need to achieve in order to encounter this kind of success. That's super important. So your checklist can include anything from what to write and when, an outline, what kind of education you need to achieve in order to kind of get the skills that get you back up to par so that you can compete as a writer. Or it can also be all the steps that you need to take to have a writer's platform. So when to post to social media, how to do that, where to advertise, who to reach out to, all of that stuff goes into your success roadmap. It's really great also to have an example of what success looks like for you, and that way you can kind of emulate that example. And that brings us to the third reason that so many writers fail on the road to success, and it's because they don't have support. So I just said something about an example. So one of the means of support that writers can find is finding a mentor. And I have recommended before in other videos that you should definitely get a mentor. It is such an important tool to have in your arsenal, but I think you should have two mentors. The first kind of mentor is that aspirational mentor, kind of the really best-selling author who has done it all, who's just like up here in what you want to be. And you can read interviews that they've given, you can watch videos of them, and you can find out how they became successful. And that's going to help you in your roadmap to success. They're basically your example that you're following at a very high level. So that's kind of like the best case scenario. The second kind of mentor that you should definitely find is more of a supportive mentor, because this is somebody who's kind of like here. This is somebody who's just a few steps ahead of you in this whole writing game. They have been there, done that, but not to this degree where they're inaccessible and you can't talk to them because they're world famous. Your little mentor, your low-level mentor is somebody who maybe you meet at your local bookstore and they're giving a talk, but you can approach them and ask them where they were, what kind of difficulties they had, some of the tips and tricks that they might have for a new writer like you. The other kind of support that's super important is a writing group or a writing partner. And I don't just say this because I run a writing group. I do this because I think it is crucial. I've seen such an improvement in my writers. They feel supported, they feel motivated, and it's hard to put yourself out there. And I think that as a writer, it's super hard to start to share your work before you think it's ready. But really, at some point, any successful writer is going to need to put themselves out there. So getting the practice at putting yourself out there in a low stakes environment like writing group or with a writing buddy, that's going to set you on that road to success and is going to keep you from being in your own head and getting into this mindset where you think your book's so perfect and you need to defend every single choice you've ever made and you don't want to change a thing. That mindset's not realistic when it comes to being successful. Any successful author needs to listen to input about how to make their book better. And that's going to happen with a writing partner or writing group. And the more practice you get in terms of listening to, receiving, and implementing advice, the better your book is going to get and the more chances for success you will have. So those are kind of my top 3 reasons that so many writers end up failing before they encounter success. There are, of course, a ton of other factors that enter into this, and I will be making videos about that. I have made videos about that, and you can definitely check them out on my channel, especially once you have subscribed. But if you have any comments about one of the factors of success that really impacted you as a writer, I would love if you would comment down below. It would be super awesome, really helpful for the other writers checking out these videos and who are going to look at these comments, and you can help them out. It'll help them out. This is all about writers helping writers. See that support thing kind of going into effect right now. So you guys, I hope this helped. Stay posted for another video coming very soon. And in the meantime, keep on writing.